Hello and welcome to another foray into the 5th generation with ReplayRetro. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at how Nintendo attempted to crack the enormous Chinese market with a version of their popular N64 hardware. But before we get started, it's important to look at what makes this market different to any of the other markets Nintendo was already operating in. Well, firstly, China is a hotbed of fake goods, both legal and illegal. This is largely due to the country's political landscape, in which intellectual copyright is still seen as being something of a novelty. As a result, it's very easy for companies to manufacture and sell nearly identical copies of foreign products, as long as they aren't trying to pass themselves off as the real thing. For example, if like me you're a fan of the Rolls-Royce Phantom, but don't have £250,000 sat in your disposable income, why not take a look at the visually identical, albeit without the Rolls-Royce or Phantom names, Geely GE at just £30,000. Perfectly legal in China because it doesn't call itself a Rolls-Royce, and because Chinese law makes it impossible for the company to prove their design has been copied. This problem continues in other industries, such as designer clothing, handbags, and of course, games consoles. Sometimes companies even try to create direct copies, including the branding, which is why you find so many fake versions of products like handbags on dodgy market stalls all around the world. When it comes to non-physical products like data, the problem becomes even more of a grey area in Chinese law, and as a result, the use of copied games or downloaded ROMs is an even bigger issue here than anywhere else. This makes it a risky idea for companies like Nintendo to release Chinese language versions of their games, as chances are they'll simply be copied and distributed on the black market, with none of the profit going to Nintendo themselves. To make matters even worse, the Chinese government imposed a ban on home consoles in the year 2000, citing their mental health impact on young people as a major concern. Despite all these factors, there is no denying that the giant population of China makes it a very tempting market for businesses, and one they can ill afford to ignore. With this in mind, Nintendo decided to work with an old ally in the form of Dr. Wei Yan, formerly the Vice President of Silicon Graphics, and co-founded the iQue company to manufacture and distribute Nintendo products in China. Using a loophole in the console ban, they were able to create a handheld plug-and-play style device based around their existing N64 hardware, and at the Tokyo Game Show in September 2003, they revealed the iQue Player, or Shen Yu-Ji, which loosely translates as Divine Gaming Machine. This new device would be able to play Chinese versions of N64 and Super Nintendo games, and was released just a few months later, only in China. With this device, Nintendo had found a way around the console ban, but the threat of piracy was still a massive concern. So to combat it, iQue games were not available in the standard retail setting. Instead, the games were bought as single-use swipe cards, which were taken to an iQue depot along with the console's memory card. Here, the games could be downloaded to the memory card and then taken home to play on the console. This 64-megabyte memory card used a unique digital signature to link it to a specific iQue player and tracked what games the user had bought so that they could be re-downloaded later if they were deleted to make more room for more titles. The card also tracked demos, allowing Nintendo to release time-limited versions of games for players to try before they buy without risking them getting the full game for nothing. This system proved highly successful, as even now there is no known emulation or ROM solution for the iQue, and in 2004 Nintendo felt confident enough to launch the iQue at Home service, allowing gamers to buy and download titles at home. An online multiplayer option was also announced, but sadly never appeared. Local multiplayer was possible, however, via the use of the Swim box and Swim controllers. The box itself was simply a connecting hub, while the Swim controllers looked like the iQue player, but were just controllers, with no built-in console as their own. Just like the main unit, these extra controllers also lacked rumble capability, and unfortunately it was not possible to use a second iQue console as another controller, meaning that if two friends both had the console, they would still need a Swim controller to play multiplayer, so it was hardly a perfect solution. iQue also released a family pack containing an iQue player, swim box and one swim controller as a starter pack. So now you know a little bit about the background, let's take a look at the iQue player itself. And here it is, the iQue player itself. Firstly, we'll take a quick look at the box, because it may be a bit of packaging that a few of you have never seen before, with this being quite a rare console outside of China. You can see from the front, Nintendo weren't trying to hide their branding. You have the high quality seal there, copyright for Nintendo, and of course Mario himself. So no real efforts to deny that this is a Nintendo product, but the iQue image is the most important thing for them here. You can see some features of the system. Not a lot really there. More functionality and features, device specs on the side. This side panel just has artwork. A side panel here explaining how the iQue depot works. You can probably translate these yourself really, just by what they point at. Saying about the memory card, so take your memory card, get a swipe card for the game, take all of them to the iQue depot, and you have a new game on your console. Fantastic. On the back, you can see shots from some of the games that were on their way for the system. However, a few of those shots, I believe, are from the same games. Just as a quick look. They both look like Super Mario 64 shots. There's two Star Fox 64 shots there, or Lilac Wars, depending on where you're from. And another one there, and another Super Mario one. So yeah, a lot of these screenshots are just from the same games as each other. I've taken everything that's worth looking at out of the box. Only really left the power adapter in there. The system itself then, it's a really nice feeling handheld. These mouldings here fit so well into my palms. This really is perfect fitting handheld. Considering I'm not a fan of the N64 controller, I am a fan of this controller. Nice thumbstick. Very similar, if it isn't the exact same one anyway, to the N64 one. D-pad, you can take it or leave it really. It's a modified design and it's not one I'm overly keen on because there's not a lot of feel from it. Start and power buttons, A, B buttons, and your C pad. All very nice, firm feeling buttons. On the back, you can see there isn't really a lot to look at there. On the top, you have your R button, your L button, and your Z button, as well as a connector for the system's main cable here, which is where it gets power and connection to the TV. Just above, there is a USB connector. Well, that's not a standard USB, it's of course Nintendo's proprietary one. And that was for using the iQue at Home software and of course the multiplayer system. You can pull out from the back here the system's 64 megabyte memory card. It's quite lightweight, very simple memory card with a little space to write some text on there, although I don't really see why you would, based on these being digitally signed to the individual console. It's not like you're going to have a few of them for your iQue system, but it slots very easily back into the system with a satisfying click. The build quality on this really is good. I mean, the box to some extent does actually look like some of the pirate knockoff type things that this was trying to prevent, with, you know, images thrown all over it. That was kind of the style of those boxes. But this is perfectly high quality building. This is definitely Nintendo work. Very good quality, very solid. Really a strong controller. You have this cable here which connects into the back. Very simply, another satisfying click. And then goes to your TV. And also goes to the power adapter, which makes it really easy for using in other countries because you can actually just connect a suitable power adapter in there as long as you know the required input specifications of the system. So it does make it a lot easier because you don't have to use step downs, you can just use a completely different transformer. That is a big plus from me. I don't like using step downs because of the fact that they heat up. Over here You obviously, at the back here, just have some iQue instruction books. But then this I wanted to show you. This is basically when you bought a swipe card, obviously you didn't get an instruction book. So if you wanted an instruction book for your game, you bought it separately. I do believe some games the instruction book came with the swipe card all in this one pack, but in others the instruction book was sold separately. I suppose it saves money if you don't want to buy the instruction booklet. How many of us actually read them? So you can see there the instructions for Dr. Mario. Dr. Mario is a game which was included on this system's memory card. I'm not sure if it was included with the iQue as standard or if that was just something that the seller I went to puts on for you as a freebie. However, the system does come with some other timed demos, including Lilac Wars and I believe Super Mario 64. And when buying, you were also given the option of adding any more games that you want. And I chose to add Sin and Punishment, Successor of the Earth to mine, as it is as a game for the N64 that wasn't released outside of Japan, as far as I know. And it was released for the iQue, so I thought, what better way to get that game in my collection than to put it on the iQue. So with that in mind, let's go connect this to the TV and see it in action. I thought I'd make sure you get to see the boot up screen. I know it's nothing special, but with a system like this you're probably not too interested in the games and you're more interested in seeing the menus and stuff like that themselves. So you can see here I've gone into the main game menu. If you look over on the right of the screen, you'll see some games have got red dots, others have yellow dots. Yellow dots mean that it's a demo, so you don't have the full game. It's a time-limited demo. I don't know if you can see how much time is left on the demo or not. And red dots mean that it is a full game. The memory card symbol obviously means that this game is on your memory card, whereas the computer, I believe, means that you are entitled to this game because you've downloaded it in the past. However, it is currently not on the memory card. So here, for example, we have the Ocarina of Time demo, and I have no idea what the heck that is. Wave Race, maybe? That looks like it could be the Wave Race demo, I'm not sure. And if I try to play those, a message comes up that I'm assuming is telling me I can't, because when I press B, it drops me back to the menu. So we'll have a look at one of the demos first. We'll have a look at Star Fox 64 or Lilac Wars, depending on the region you're from. As you can see, it's a yellow tab, so it's a demo. You get a little bit of God knows what text at the beginning, and then you get this loading screen as the emulator prepares to boot the software. This was the last game I actually played, which is why it loaded up quite quick. Visually it runs just as it would on the N64. You get the iQue logo obviously instead of the standard N64 logo. As you can hear, the voice acting has been translated into Chinese along with the game text. I don't know if that text on the ship has been translated or if that's actually in Japanese at the minute. If anyone knows, that would be great. Anyway, we'll skip that. I won't play much of this because chances are you already know how this plays, and it's also the most likely thing on here to get me a copyright claim. Start. As you would imagine, you can pick your route. Ooh, could you do that on the original? I don't know if you could do that on the original, or maybe I've just stumbled across it and never knew you could. I don't know.
是你上场的时候了，国虎。 你是我们唯一的希望
He
啊！
sounds very angry.
看我的吧，我不会让安德罗斯得逞的。
Yeah, we know what's going on. Let's just go. Here we are then, in our R-Wings. Come on. Let's play the game.
展开第一，
Everyone, check in. Oh, switch to all range mode, maybe? I don't know. I can't remember. It's a long time since I've played the English language version of this.
检查你们的机扩散系统。
Okay, now everyone's checking in.
罗可在，状态良好。
Wish they'd stop checking in and let me play the freaking game.
海卫登场，系统运行正
This
常
is。completely unskippable.
史比报道，没事。
我看到他们了。好，我们上吧。
Here we go. Yeah, so here we are. It is just as you would expect it. Of course, you can do a barrel roll, but it's not a barrel roll. It is, as
回这儿来。
everyone will know, an aileron roll, misrepresented by Nintendo.
妈来救救我！天天火锅，我以为我不行了。
我们进入克尼利亚城了。这里太可怕了。
This plays exactly like the Lilac Wars that I know. The only difference really being that it's easier for me to set it up. Because I don't need to dig out the console, dig out the controller, dig out the leads. I can just use this lovely little plug and play jobby and play it the far easier way. Hooray for ease! The laziness!
有减速。
Well, I think that's quite enough. Whoopsie, sorry Falco.
给我，把我后面的那个干掉。
I think that's quite enough of that. Let's go back to the menu, which is done just by pressing the power button on the iQue player. There we go, back to the menu. And we'll take a look at... What should we take a look at? Let's take a look at one of the games, the game I chose to buy, which is Sin and Punishment, Successor of the Earth. It's got to be one of the greatest names for a game I've ever heard. Again, you get this loading screen. It's booted up really quickly then. Did not expect it to be so quick. It is normally significantly slower.
Archie! Archie! Hurry! Give us Archie!
As far as the term run and gun goes, this game really, really highlights it. I think I just did that mode. Hooray! Can I not shoot yet? Ah, there you go. Sorry, I just forgotten how to. So literally in this game, you just run along. You can jump, you can shoot. I think you can get it to automatically lock on, but for the life of me right now, I am really struggling with that. It doesn't look that great a game from the way I'm showing it, but when I first got this iQue player, I got quite addicted to this game because it is very, very playable. Ah, that's it. You can switch between manual aim and automatic aim. That's what you do. You're not just in this field forever, I should point out. You do eventually go on to other levels, like a city and that. I believe this has now been released on Virtual Console, so if you don't want to get an iQue or a Japanese N64, sorry, there are ways to play this game. on your Wii Virtual Console. I don't know if it's on the Wii U Virtual Console as well. But it's a fun little game. Almost like the Vectrix games I was reviewing the other day. It's very simple to understand, but much harder to master. Keep forgetting to jump. So yeah, that is Sin and Punishment, Successor of the Earth, on the iQue player. The iQue player was a valiant effort to crack a difficult market, but it never really saw the kind of success Nintendo were looking for, and as such, further support slowly fell away. Online multiplayer was cancelled, SNES software conversion was forgotten, and the system found itself with just 14 N64 games converted and released, with the final entry being Animal Crossing in 2006. Rumours suggest that Majora's Mask was also completed and ready for launch, as advertised on the console box, but the game was never released due to suspected censorship issues. The iQue brand still exists in China and has been used to launch a variety of Nintendo handhelds in the country, from the Game Boy Advance all the way up to the 3DS XL. In 2013, Nintendo took 100% ownership of the company, and it now operates as a Nintendo subsidiary. In 2014, China lifted their home console ban, but as yet Nintendo has not released their current home console platform, the Wii U, and is instead considering other options for what it refers to as emerging markets. As for the iQue player, well, bizarrely, the story isn't quite over, as in recent years the machine has become a fan favourite for speedrunners due to the shorter Chinese text boxes being quicker to skip. The current Ocarina of Time speedrun world record was in fact set using the iQue player, and many believe this is indeed the quickest way to beat the game. That's all we've got time for on this episode, but don't forget you can follow ReplayRetro on Twitter, and of course via our Facebook page. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for more old school gaming.